In 1933, while most American tanker trucks looked like moving sheds on wheels, boxy, noisy, and entirely indifferent to aesthetics, one oil company decided that the vehicle delivering fuel to your door should look like it arrived from 20 years in the future. What they built was so unusual that people who saw it on the road genuinely struggled to identify what they were looking at. It had no hood, no fenders, no running boards, and no conventional shape of any kind. It was a tanker truck that looked like a pill rolling down the highway. And it was real. The story behind the Diamond T Doodlebug begins not with an engineer, but with a marketing problem. Texaco, formerly the Texas Company, was operating in a competitive fuel market during the early 1930s and wanted to reframe public perception of oil as a product. Coal was still heating a large proportion of American homes at the time, dirty, messy, and increasingly unfashionable. Texaco wanted customers to associate their product with cleanliness, modernity, and progress. A conventional tanker truck parked outside a customer's home did nothing to support that message. A vehicle that looked like it belonged in a science fiction novel was a different proposition entirely. To execute this vision, Texaco contracted two of America's most celebrated industrial designers. Norman Bell Geddes, whose futurist design philosophy would go on to shape the 1939 World's Fair, led the exterior design. Walter Dorwin Teague, responsible for some of the most iconic American product designs of the 20th century, provided additional input. This was not a truck designed by truck people. It was a truck designed by people who thought about how objects made people feel. The difference shows in every line of the finished vehicle. The chassis came from Diamond T, a Chicago manufacturer with a strong reputation for heavy commercial vehicles. The specialized streamlined body was built by Heil Trailer in Fort Payne, Alabama, a coach builder experienced in custom heavy vehicle construction. What emerged from this collaboration was unlike anything else registered on American roads. The body was a fully enclosed, all-steel structure built as one integrated unit, not a separate tank mounted on a conventional frame, but a single coherent shape that tapered from a rounded front to a narrower rear. The overall profile has been described consistently as a pill or a bread loaf. It stood just 6 feet tall, an astonishing height for a full-capacity tanker truck then or since. There were no fenders, no hood, no cowl, and no running boards. The passenger cabin was blended directly into the body, with no visual break between driver's compartment and tank. The windshield used compound curved glass, a manufacturing technique so advanced it would not appear commonly in production vehicles until the mid-1950s, more than 2 decades after the Doodlebug first rolled out of the build shop. Power came from a rear-mounted Hercules L-head 6-cylinder, a decision that placed the entire drivetrain at the back of the vehicle rather than under a conventional front hood. This was the reason for the smooth, unbroken nose. With no engine beneath it, the front could be shaped purely for appearance and aerodynamics. The clutch and gearbox were operated by air pressure rather than mechanical linkage, an unusual system that simplified the driver's inputs when managing heavy loads. The rear engine location created one immediate practical problem. The driver sat at the front of the vehicle, far removed from the power plant, with no conventional way to judge engine speed for gear changes. The solution was ingenious in its simplicity. A microphone was installed in the rear engine compartment and connected to a speaker in the driver's cab. The driver listened to the engine note through the speaker and shifted gears by ear, the same instinct any experienced driver develops delivered electronically across the length of the vehicle. In 1933, this was not a standard feature on anything. The tank carried approximately 1,500 gallons of fuel, roughly 5,678 liters, enough for multiple deliveries without returning to base. The Diamond T Doodlebug's distinctive Texaco red livery with bold block lettering made it an unmistakable presence on any road it traveled, which was precisely the point. These vehicles were as much moving advertisements as they were functional delivery trucks. The Doodlebug was part of a broader Texaco rebranding initiative that simultaneously produced the Texaco Star T logo still in use today. The vehicles were deployed on promotional tours across key American markets, introducing the company's modern corporate identity to customers who had never seen anything like them. Whether people wanted fuel oil or not, they remembered the truck. Production numbers remain uncertain. Some sources record 6 vehicles built. Others suggest the actual figure may be higher, with at least 2 distinct versions produced between 1933 and 1935. The true number may never be confirmed, because none of the original vehicles are known to survive. They were working trucks, not museum pieces, and when their useful service lives ended, they were scrapped like any other commercial vehicle. The specialized nature of their construction made repurposing difficult, and preservation was never considered. What survives instead is the idea. The Diamond T Doodlebug was among the earliest examples of serious industrial design applied to a heavy commercial vehicle, a demonstration that utility and visual sophistication were not mutually exclusive, that the truck delivering fuel to your door could make a statement about what the future looked like. The compound curved windshield alone was ahead of every production vehicle on the market by 2 decades. The integrated body construction anticipated design approaches that wouldn't become standard for years. Viewed from the present, the Doodlebug is not simply a curiosity from a forgotten corner of automotive history. It is evidence that the people who imagined the future most clearly were sometimes the ones building fuel trucks in Alabama in 1933.